On this week's edition of the NNY Capitol Report, the Assembly Transportation Committee spent some time getting into details on the growing use of e-bikes, e-scooters, and so-called hoverboards, the battery-powered vehicles sometimes referred to as micromobility devices.
New York State enacted a law in 2020 legalizing the operation of electric bicycles and electric scooters on public roadways. Various sources, including the U.S. Department of Energy, as well as a study submitted to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, have indicated there has been a continuous increase in the use of micromobility devices such as these over the past few years.
The issue is present in both cities and rural areas. Unclear standards and manufacturers who circumvent state laws restricting the top speed of e-bikes to 25 miles per hour have made for a confusing landscape, and without statewide regulations, individual jurisdictions are making their own rules. A bike that's legal in one town may be illegal a few miles down the road.
Well, I think the classification of e-bikes and other mobility vehicles, I think we're going to have to take another look at that as to what has to be registered or licensed and what doesn't. That's one part of it. It's drawn attention to batteries and how to deal with those. There's been some very good examples of how it can be done better. I'd like to look into that. I'd also like to look into some of the bad actors who are selling mobility vehicles as e-bikes when they're something more like a motorcycle. And so we have to get, I think, to the Attorney General to see how this can be stopped as well, especially if they're doing it over the internet or things like that. So there's been a lot of food for thought coming out of this hearing, which we're going to look into.
Safety issues have been a pressing concern for many across the state. Cities including Ogdensburg and Watertown have both undertaken public education campaigns and other initiatives, but crashes and accidents are still fairly common.
E-bikes have emerged as a popular mode of transportation across New York State. While offering some benefits, such as reduced traffic congestion and lower carbon emissions, as their popularity grows, so do concerns about their impact on public safety. We have seen in law enforcement increased safety concerns, increased concerns regarding the speed of these devices, and increases in serious physical injury and fatal crashes.
While some came to the panel with concerns about safety, pro-biking groups were there to advocate for more infrastructure, expansions on where these devices can be used, and other state actions that would make e-bikes and scooters easier to use in general. Magnarelli said he thinks the state needs to acknowledge the demand that exists for these devices and plan accordingly.
Well, I think initially this is an area that's growing, okay, and I think to be honest, I think we're going to have to move into the future. But it's going to, what I was asking over and over and over again today was, where's the money going to come? You want safe streets, you want new infrastructure. Okay, we need to find the money and we need to have the time to build it out. That's number one. The idea that certain neighborhoods, I think one member was looking at neighborhoods being brought into where e-bikes are being used and recharged, etc. I think that's important too, to bring neighborhoods into the picture, especially if you're dealing with older citizens, disabled citizens. I think that that's very important as well. But I think these are just growing pains in an area that we're not going to stop. I think it's going to grow more and more.
Magnarelli said this is the start of a long deliberative process, and wasn't committal on if he thought any legislation would be passed this year.
No, I think I think we're going to look at it now. Whether or not there's legislation that passes both houses and gets signed by the governor, that's a different story. I don't know if that'll happen now, but I think we're going to be looking at it now.
Reporting from the Watertown Daily Times Albany Bureau, I'm Alex Galt.